This week on Supercars Talk, it's not great news from the Brickyard. We do get to see the two Nascar liveries for the local boys competing at Sonoma, and Team 18 has got an exciting new co-driver lineup for Bathurst. The big news this week is that Supercars has gone from a $2.7 million loss last year to a $6.8 million profit this year. That's a big turnaround. That's nearly $10 million extra in the coffers this year. That's from revenue of about $120 million. So they have spent a lot of money along the way. There is a lot of people commenting. These are put down as normalized profits. So essentially, from what I understand, that means there has been some big expenses with the Gen 3 coming in. The teams were given a payment to help with building of those cars and things like the wind tunnel testing and that. Now, some of that has been put down as capital in the profit and loss statement or in the balance sheet, which then will be depreciated over a period of time, probably the period of time that we will be running these Gen 3 cars. Now, don't listen to all the people on Bookface. This is a totally normal thing for businesses. It is hard to understand, but this is what kind of normally happens with those things. I suppose the big takeaway on this is that the series is in a lot better financial position than what they were last year, so we don't have to stress at all because everything's rosy. Now, on to the Brickyard. It was a great start of the race. Scott McLaughlin looked very strong. Will Power was good in that first stint and then just, drifted away. Scott McLaughlin was looking really good though. He did have a bit of a clutch issue coming out of the pits, and but each pit stop along he went, and even if he lost a couple of spots in those pit stops, he seemed to have the car to power back to the front. He seemed to just be kind of doing what he wanted with it, and all was looking good until right towards the end there, and a few other guys did their thing, and Scott was sixth in the end. Will Power ended up in the wall. That car, I think, just gradually got worse during the day. Joseph Newgarden, of course, taking the win again for Team Penske. A little bit disappointing in the end. At least it was a very exciting end to the race, and if you haven't seen it, it is definitely worth checking out. Team 18 has confirmed their exciting new lineup for the co-driver races later on in the year that will be unchanged from last year. So Michael Caruso will be pairing up again with Mark Winterbottom, and Warren Luff is on loan once again from Walkinshaw Andretti United. This time though, he will team up with Dave Reynolds instead of Scott Pye, who was there last year. Okay, they're very solid co-drivers, but it is a little bit of a boring lineup, if you ask me. I always write off Warren Luff before the Enduros, and then he does really special things, but probably not the combinations where you're looking for winners there. There's a lot stronger combinations out there in the field. Now, the last little thing I want to cover off is we have seen the liveries of both Cam Waters and Will Brown's Nascars that they'll be racing in Sonoma with. The big things, I suppose, is Will Brown's car will have Mobile X as the big sponsor there. Peter Adderton, who's not very happy with someone else in the Supercars field. Shaw and Partners taking up prominent position on the bonnet there. And the other Southern Cross Truck Rentals, they get a mention on the car. Of course, these brands have all pulled out of Erebus during the last 6 months or whatever it is now. A little bit of a kick in the teeth there for Brody Kostecki. He was the one essentially going to be doing this drive this year, and now it's Will Brown, and all those sponsors have stuck on board with that. Will Brown will also have Shane van Gisbergen there as his secondary spotter. Not the main spotter, but a secondary spotter on that car. That'll be on the radio, I suppose, helping him out during the race. That's coming up pretty soon. Getting a little bit excited. It will be the first NASCAR race I have watched this year. Now, following on from the preview of Wanneroo with my two Super2 drivers, Campbell Logan and Brad Vaughan, I followed up with them how their weekend went with a quick little interview that is here. Hope you guys enjoy. So we've got Campbell Logan back to have a bit of a chat about his weekend at Wanneroo, which 17th and 21st, not the best weekend, I suppose, but did you learn something out of the weekend at least?
Yeah, bit of an interesting weekend to say the least. Like, our Friday was actually not too bad. We finished off P7 in practice overall, and that was a good result for me. And then rolled into quali on Saturday, and didn't really. I mean, story of my life for both qualifyings over the weekend. Didn't really put my laps together, but when it came to, and that just put me down the grid, which really hurt. But when it came to the racing, I learned a lot about how to race in the dirty air and how to actually manage these cars throughout a whole race stint. Like, keep in mind, I didn't finish I finished one race at Bathurst. I didn't even start the other. And the one at Bathurst had 2 green laps the whole time. So, I learned a lot about how to race these cars, which will be super useful moving forward for me. But, the objective's pretty clear. I just need to qualify better so we can use the speed.
Yeah. Does that make you feel better or worse that then your teammate goes and wins the weekend overall?
To be honest, I expected it. So
yep.
I don't really have any. It's more of a neutral feeling. Like, Zach's in his second year. He got some very good results last year, and he started off the year really strong this year. So, our cars are really good at Perth. So I fully expected him to actually win the weekend, which it was awesome to see him do. But, I'm more just stoked for him and know that the cars are really good and the potential's there. So we'll just keep working hard to get to the same position he's at.
And the main guys had a pretty good weekend as well.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, I was eating dinner down at the catering tent when, actually it was lunch, eating lunch when Chaz and Woody put it 1-2 on the front row in qualifying, and just the reaction in the garage was insane. So, no, super cool weekend for the whole team. I feel like I've let them down a little bit, but we'll keep working.
That's all right. You've got the least amount of experience of all of them, so you'll get there.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Cam McLeod and Cooper Murray?
It's an interesting one. Like, obviously today Cooper got disqualified from the race, so traditionally I think that's where it sits. But obviously a massive shunt. Like, I don't think I've been in a field where there's been a massive rollover like that ever in my career. So that was definitely something crazy. I couldn't see a whole lot when it happened. I just saw dust, and my engineer telling me to slow down because it was something big was happening, but I wasn't sure what happened. But I think the main thing is it was good to see Cam walk away from the car, no problems at all. That was probably the most important thing, and it was just good to see him smiling after the race, even though it ended pretty badly for him.
Yeah, well, I suppose you can kind of look at your weekend and go, well, at least we didn't destroy a car or burn a motor down to the ground or anything like that.
Yeah, that was for a couple of people, Mason and Cameron, probably sucked a lot more than my weekend did.
Yeah, they've got some big repair bills between. At least you get a long break. What's the plans between now and Townsville?
Yeah, Townsville's actually not that far away, especially when you consider that the trucks they're still on their way back to the workshop now from Perth. Yep. So, a little bit of a break for us, where we've got a test day planned with both cars before Townsville, which will be really good to get in the swing of things again before Townsville and keep working on the areas I need to work on from the weekend just gone. So, we'll do another test day and then roll into Townsville. It's always an awesome event up there, and the track's pretty bloody cool. So I'm excited to drive it there in a supercar for the first time.
Yeah. I didn't cover this off last time, I don't think. Are your testing rules the same as the main game, where as a rookie you can go and test at different circuits, or are you locked into Winton?
Yeah, a bit of both. So obviously you have the one test day per round, so 6 test days, and then as a rookie you get an additional 3. but you're only
Yep.
allowed to use one of those three to go test at another track. So I've
Oh,
already
okay.
done that going to Tailem Bend. I've done
Yep.
one other rookie day at Winton, and then I've got one more rookie day which can only be used at Winton. So the rest of my testing
Is it
for this year is
winter?
at Winton. Yeah.
Okay. You'll get good at going around there, and then no one goes and races there anymore.
Well, the joke is that Batesy, my teammate, is sick of testing at Winton because he's done a whole year and a half of it now, whereas I still quite enjoy the track because I'm still new to it.
Well, if you stay at Walkinshaw's, you could spend a lifetime testing around Winton. So.
To be fair, Winton's probably a better test track than QR.
Well, yeah, I was going to say you could move to a Queensland-based team for something different, but those options probably aren't better, are they?
No, not really.
And last one, when can we announce you as Matt Charter's co-driver for the Enduros?
No, no, I can confirm I will not be co-driving with Matt Charter.
You're not one of the guys on the shortlist.
No, and even if I was, with my current experience level, I probably would not be interested. I'm pretty focused on my Super2 career at the moment, and I certainly haven't got the results I want to achieve. So I'll keep working at that for the moment, and hopefully stuff like that will come up next year or earlier in the future. And once I've got some good results, but my focus at the moment is just to keep working hard with the team and see where we can end up in the future.
Yeah, you wouldn't qualify for the super license yet either, would you?
Nah, not yet. I actually don't know. I'd have to look at it how the points structure works now because it's obviously changed.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to remember with the change. But you still have to do the 6 Super 2 rounds as well, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the thing that would catch me out. I mean, I probably wouldn't have enough points from previous categories, but I've certainly
Yeah,
got a few points from previous categories like 86, which is good. So yeah, everything
yeah,
counts.
yeah. All right. Thanks for that wrap up on the weekend, and we'll have a chat before Townsville.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. See ya.
So we've got Tickford Racing star Brad Vaughan here, ready to talk about the Wanneroo round. So qualifying went well.
Yeah, qualifying went well across the weekend, a third and a pole on Sunday, so I can't complain about that. Qualifying pace has always been there. That's my third pole in Super 2 now, so that's good to have that. We just got to work on the races now.
Yeah. So for those who didn't watch over the weekend, the first race starter motor issue.
Yeah, Saturday we had a starter motor issue, unfortunately.
Yep.
That was actually the third starter motor across the weekend that was put in the car. So yeah, there's an issue there. All three starter motors had completely different symptoms of what went
Yep.
wrong with them. So it's one of those head scratching things. We kept fixing them, and then something else would go wrong.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it went wrong right at the moment where you needed it to work. So yeah, we
Inconvenient timing.
had one in practice, had one in qualifying, and then in the race when I was just about to take off on the formation lap. So the team will look into that, but yeah, frustrating, that's for sure.
It was only your car that had the issues, wasn't it? It's not like it was a batch kind of issue for the whole team.
No, it was only my car, and the last starter motor we put in was a brand new one, so you can't get much better than that, and it still failed. So, yeah, whatever reason, the team are looking into it, but yeah, for some reason my car's just a little bit cursed with starter motors, I think.
And then race two. At what point did you realise you were jumping the start?
Yeah, I knew that
Yeah.
that the car was moving. It's one of those things. It's not as simple as it looks, right? There's a whole procedure of doing a race start in a supercar, with the way we set the line locker pressure and the timing of it all. To be honest, I was just a bit eager. There's no doubt about that. I loaded up clutch really early, and once they get hot, even you've got 150 horsepower on the limiter at 7,000 RPM, it's going to take off no matter what line locker pressure you've got. So that's something I've already looked at. I've spoken to Cam Waters about it, and and my teammates as well, Ryland and Lockie, and what they do. So hopefully I shouldn't have that issue again.
Do you wish now that you kind of, instead of stopping and starting again, you just went when it went and then had a bigger lead?
Yeah, well, I sort of knew once it started creeping, you might as well just go because you're going to get a penalty anyway. So that's sort of what I did in the end. I knew I was moving, so might as well just go.
Yeah, and they cop the consequences after.
Yeah, exactly.
At least, it was only a 5-second penalty for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was only 5 seconds, and
Yep.
we only actually raced for 15 minutes of a 40-minute race. And in those first 15 minutes, I already got up to, with the 5-second penalty, P4, which is where I finished in the race. So if the race went green, who knows, you could have still ended up on the podium. If things really went my way, may have even looked at a win, but it was early to say that. But P4 with the penalties, still pretty good day.
Yeah, it's not bad because I remember back in the 90s that would have been a drive-through for something like that, and that'd be day done.
Yeah, that's something that Beardo's really changed with his DSA role. He's sort of got a 5, 10 or 15-second penalty. A pit lane penalty sort of doesn't really happen anymore, where back when Vaughan was doing it, it was a pit lane penalty for anything. So that's something that Beardo definitely does good at, is giving out the penalties according to, what the crime is.
Yeah, I like that. Do you, just on a side note, do you listen to the podcast he does after the weekend where he discusses the penalties and that?
Yeah, I haven't watched the Perth one, but I do,
Okay.
get into it and see a little bit. It's always interesting, hearing his opinion. So yeah, I might have to watch it.
Yeah, do you find that helpful? Because I've heard some of the drivers don't actually like that he's explaining them like that to everyone.
Yeah, it's probably good for the fans as well to understand the reasoning behind those sort of decisions. In the end of the day, usually if you're in trouble, you'll find out why. We're talking to Beardo or whatever. He's pretty approachable. I've spoken to him before, sat up in race control and watched him with all the hawkeye and everything. It's after going up there and spending a bit of time with him, it opens your eyes. He can see a hell of a lot more than you can see in the car with your helmet on. Believe it or
that's
not.
it.
So, whether people listen to his thoughts or what on a podcast is up to them.
Because I find it quite, as a fan that's somewhat removed, like I find it quite helpful because you see the television and that definitely doesn't show you all the angles or anything, and sometimes you make a snap judgment, or you have your biased hat on or things like that, and then having something like that after the fact, it really helps explain how he came to that decision, and all of a sudden it kind of brings it more into light. I suppose that it's not so unfair or things like that, where as a fan, like, you can really get carried away and jump on Facebook or whatever and blame the guy that you don't like.
Yeah, exactly. In the end of the day, we're all done that before, where we've taken sides and wanted to make a decision. But in the end of the day, Beardo's got every camera angle on the track. He's got data from all the cars live. He's got all the TV or judicial onboard footage to go through. He's got all the tools there. It's actually would be good to see some of that stuff actually shown a little bit more, because once you start looking into more of the onboards and the data, you wouldn't go against some of his decisions once you see how much tools he's got available.
Yeah, well, I suppose the Cooper Murray and Cam McLeod incident on the weekend, like from the footage that we saw on the TV, like, it was pretty cut and dry, and then you see those. Well, I've only seen stills of the incident, and now reviewing it, it changes your whole view on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good example. I'm not going to take a side on that, but that's a good example of, it always looks different on TV than it does inboard in the car.
Yeah. Speaking of taking sides, Randall versus Brown.
Yeah. Yep.
Was the penalty enough?
Thomas will say it wasn't. I wasn't even there. I had to run to the airport straight away, so I didn't even see it till the next day. I got to watch the race back. But yeah, it was good for Cam to get the win, and even a strong weekend for Thomas. Really, inside the top 10 is pretty good.
Yeah, it was a pretty good weekend overall for the team.
Yeah, well, both poles in both classes as such on the Sunday, and then one benefited from a 5-second penalty, the other one lost it from a 5-second penalty. So
that's it. Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what's the plans now for the break between till Townsville?
So we'll keep racing lots of other things. I'll probably do a race in the Hyundai Excels, which I've still got. A bit of fun. I'll be up in Darwin as well, supporting the main game team and doing whatever else I can over the weekend. And we've got a test day. We've got a little training camp as well. There's plenty going on between then and now. Luckily, only 6 weeks. It's not. It's a little bit shorter than the gap between first round and the second round.
It sounds ridiculous that the 6-week break's a short break.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I suppose the question on everybody's lips is, do you get to keep the boost hat from your pole position? You've got it there. No issues with you wearing the hat?
No, exactly. I don't have I got no issues wearing that hat, and it's gone proudly with my other 2 pole position hats from last year.
Well, hopefully there's a few more upcoming for the rest of the year, and just got to get it off the start line.
Yeah, hopefully some more trophies and not worrying about these pole position hats as much, although they are important. But get off the line and hopefully convert to some wins. And I'm looking forward to Townsville now.
All right, thank you for that, and we'll have a quick chat before you get to Townsville.
No worries. Thanks, mate.
Once again, a massive shout out to Brad Vaughan and Campbell Logan for their time and insights on the weekend. I hope you guys are enjoying these interviews as much as I'm enjoying, getting to know the guys and a bit more about them and the Super2 series. Also, some of you would have seen who have probably the people who are watching IndyCar racing and have Stan. You will have seen there is a Renee Gracie documentary out. I have not seen it yet, but I do get to feature in it. I think very, very briefly. I think I know what footage has been used, so I don't look too bad. I don't look, because some of the things I thought the way they could, I've said about Renee over the years, I thought the way that they could cut it up could look pretty bad for me. I think there is a couple of very, very short clips of mine in there, just adding a bit more to the story of the whole thing. But check it out if you have got Stan. It's a bit of a watch. I haven't seen it yet because it's slightly over an hour and a half. It's a bit movie length, and with all the racing over the weekend, I didn't have a chance to check it out yet. Check it out. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I think it might be a very biased view from one side of the equation on all of these things, but we'll check it out and let me know what you think down in the comments. But until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.